Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. No matter where you go across the globe, when dealing with leftists, there's certain universal truths. It's the same dynamic everywhere you go, the same gaslighting nonsense every single time. You try to have a conversation about real-world issues, stuff that has serious violent or negative impacts on society, and if what you're saying or the stats you're presenting don't comport with the leftist naive worldview, then the immediate defense mechanism kicks in, right? You're racist. Oh, if you don't reject the facts and the stats like I do, well then you're racist. Absolute clown behavior. And I got a viral clip that's currently bouncing around. We got a mainstream journalist discussing the issue of Pakistani grooming gangs in the UK, and let's just say there's a whole lot of similarities to some of the conversations we have at home. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so just take a look at this exchange right over here. We've got a corporate journalist known as Emily Mateless who's attempting to debunk the idea that Pakistani men are committing crimes of abuse at a higher level than native-born UK citizens. Just take a look.
I want to talk about grooming gangs. You've launched your own inquiry. Alexis J, who as you know spent 7 years on a child abuse probe, says she's very unhappy with the politicisation of child sex education done, in her words, a very uninformed way. She's talking about you.
Well, she's welcome to her own opinion, as is everybody. I believe in a Britain where everybody should be able to express exactly what they want to.
Why is it funny
without
to
any
politise child exploitation?
I don't have any problem. I said she's welcome to her own opinion.
But why is it funny?
But it's not funny. I mean, my driver for the gang inquiry is that, having looked into it, and it's something which I think a lot of people in this country probably were blissfully unaware of.
No, I don't think they were. Andrew Norfolk,
that's
who's the Times reporter.
That's your opinion. But I have picked up the mantle, and as you know, I don't call them grooming gangs. I call it Pakistani gangs.
Yes, you do.
Because 95% of these people are Pakistanis, and very often from a particular part of Pakistan.
That's absolutely not
true.
So
it is true. It is true, Emily. But anyway,
no.
let's
From 2023, no, I'm going to tell you this.
Let's park that.
224 white grooming gang suspects were found compared to 22 Pakistani suspects. Why do you only talk about the Pakistani grooming gangs? That's police statistics from the Times.
I've now got on my
police statistics from the Times.
If you look at my gang inquiry, which you asked me about.
No, I didn't. I asked you why you're insisting on politicising child exploitation.
20,000 people have donated about £620,000 now. That shows you the depth of feeling and concern amongst British people.
Doesn't it show you should be ashamed that you are making money off a re-exploitation
I'm not. I've given money.
I've
given money. I'm not making money. I've given money to it. I will make absolutely less than zero. I've given a substantial sum to it, as have other people who care.
Why are you doing this? Why are you just trying to talk about Pakistani grooming gangs when there are 4 times, 8 times and 10 times as many white grooming gang suspects?
Do you not think, Emily, there's an issue with Pakistani Muslims working class white underage girls? Do you not think there's an issue there?
I think there is an appalling issue with grooming when it hits any community and any age. We only ever hear you talk about Pakistani perpetrators.
Are you telling me there's no issue?
I'm telling you that you are focusing on Pakistani gangs because probably you're racist and you don't believe that there are white perpetrators of the same crime. Can you deny that?
I am concentrating on it because it's a blot on our national history. It has
not
been properly dealt with.
Isn't any a blot on our history? Why don't you talk about anyone else?
My gang inquiry, I have a victim who's working with us. I have a number of people who've been directly involved. And it's underway. And if you're suggesting I'm going to make any money out of it, that is completely wrong. I've given money to it.
If you think this way, then you are a racist, she claims. And she seems to believe the nonsense that she's spewing. She seems to believe that the stats back up her statement. She smugly claims that white men are responsible for most grooming crimes. Therefore, focusing on any other group is racism. But that is absolutely intellectually dishonest. Because of course, we've seen this before, right? It's yet again another leftist who doesn't understand the concept of per capita. She's leaning on the raw numbers, not the rates. Either she doesn't understand basic math, or she's a total corporate propagandist. And what's crazy is, the article that she's citing from the Times literally proves the exact opposite of what she's stating. According to the Times, Asian males, which Pakistani men fall under that category, which is a whole other conversation to have, but anyways, quote, Asian males are twice as likely to be involved in group-based, let's say, minor abuse crimes as their share of the population. Pakistani males, who make up just 2.7% of the UK population, are showing up 2 to 4 times more frequently than their demographic share would predict. This is a chart from Tom Culver, attributed to the Times and the Sunday Times. It says abuse by ethnicity. Then we've got white, Asian, black, mixed, or other. You'll see the general population breakdown, but then when you go to group-based crime, i.e. the grooming gangs, all of a sudden the white share drops down to 70, and Asian goes from 8 to 16, 2 times the representation in respect to population levels. And that is a conservative number based on some other stats and some other studies that I've seen as well. So what does that tell you? That's from the study that she was citing. It tells you that the exact opposite of what she was suggesting is the truth. There is a problem, but you can't identify that problem. You can't even talk about it. You can't sound the alarm, because if you do, you're somehow a racist. It is completely absurd. And it's also deeply damaging. I mean, what's so twisted about this grooming gang stuff is that the majority of the victims of these gangs are little British girls. Overwhelmingly so. Meaning you have foreign gangs coming in and preying on local girls. It's a massive problem, but if you call it out, you're somehow a racist. Absurd. Then you have these cowardly parasitic organizations that care more about perception and upholding the dogma of multiculturalism. And so what do? Decades of cover-ups, media manipulation, institutional cowardice. They gaslight you by purposely pretending as if they don't understand per capita, and then call you a bigot for simply highlighting the data. Folks, this is cultural relativism gone wrong. The belief that all cultures are equal, and that any criticism of any behavior that deviates from Western norms is automatically prejudice. It's not. But there's obviously an issue of culture here, an incompatibility. You know, there's some practices in some parts of the world that are truly heinous, that are truly wrong, and there seems to be a worldview in this case where you can commit these kinds of crimes as long as the target of your crime is an infidel. I mean, that is literally the thinking here. You got these roaming gangs of thugs who believe they have the right to victimize people as long as they aren't targeting their own. That's why the majority of their victims are young British people, and that simply is a view that is incompatible with the West, and you're not a racist for saying that. You simply have morals, a conscience. What is happening is wrong. It's devastating for thousands upon thousands of young people. This isn't about race. It's not about bigotry. It's not about scapegoating a group of people. It's about the facts and the victims. And very simply put, don't let these leftist media hacks gaslight you or intimidate you into thinking otherwise. We should be able to talk about these concepts without the constant accusations of racism. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.